What is up, everybody? Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers that is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And since 2020, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. And as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And looking around his home is a good, and I can honestly say that friend.
Yes, sir.
Friend, Mr. Roger Dundas. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Vibe, the vibe of the city. How are you?
And you know, whenever I call Roger, goes, Vibe of the city, Dr. Vibe. I say, I need to get that on a voiceover. So I see how much of I can afford Roger to take a few moments of his precious.
I'll do it free for you, my friend. I'll do it
100%.
For you, it's free, always.
100%. How, well, you know what? For people who don't know about Roger, share a little bit about us with Roger Dundas.
Yeah, me. You know what? I am the co-founder, publisher of BuyBlacks.com. We've been around from 2013, so that's what, 12 years now? 12 years. Yeah. We've been doing this. So we focus on telling Black Canadian stories, and then we started doing a Buy Blacks Restaurant Week in 2021. When we just started it, we were doing it twice per year. So that would have been spring and fall, May and November. And then after the third year, we quickly realized that it was so much work. It's intense, and I'll go into the intensity of it. So we cut it back now to just once a year, which is in May. So it's a spring thing. We figure, winters are long.
Still going on by
the way. It's feeling sprinterish, and winters are long. So when it's ended, people they want to go out. They want to try new things. They've been bottled up. They want to go try new restaurants. And I figured that was a better time to hold than the November time.
100%. Yeah. What made you start this
restaurant week?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It was in the middle of the pandemic, and to be fair, we were looking at doing restaurant week from 2018. So at the time when we were looking at doing the restaurant week, this didn't pan out in 2018. It had a different slant, different set of partners and everything. And we quickly realized that the best way to do it is for us to just slap our name on it and do it. And the reason for it really is twofold. One, maintenance of culture, right? So I find that restaurants and establishments that allow people to gather and congregate are ways for us to maintain our culture, having a space where we feel comfortable as Black people that we can go to and see our own food, right? So, promoting the food businesses across the country was, we thought it was important to us. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is that I always found that the restaurants, they didn't market themselves as much as they needed to. And I would say that that's a blanket statement right across the board for all restaurants. The only people I find that do it really successfully, of course, are the big chains, because they have that budget. They have a corporate budget and an infrastructure in place to deal with it. But I find that the smaller establishments, they're so focused on getting stuff done, like, getting important. Some people would say equally important. I would say it's equally important, but getting the food cooked, getting the operations done, cleaning the place, paying the bill. There's other things that need to be done in a sourcing product. But the marketing is also critical, because without clients, then there's no business, right? So we found that we were able to work with a team of people, and I'm not talking about the Buy Blacks team now. I'm talking about working with Black community associations across the country. So guys, it's at least, let me see. So there, 1, 2, 3, probably about 14 Black community associations that we're working with, if not more, because it's not just the I know people think like, there's a BBABC over in Vancouver. There's the Black Culture Society at PEI. There's New Brunswick. There are different ones. There's the BBI in Nova Scotia, but there's another one. There's all these layers: the Chamber, the Black Chamber, the ACBN, the BBPA, the BOF, the Black Opportunity Fund, Black North Initiative. There's so many Black community associations that we're asking respectfully to help to promote their constituents. And then there's the destination marketing organizations. Those are the tourism boards. I would say that they have really stepped up a lot in assisting in the promotion of the restaurant. So everything from Destination Vancouver all the way over to Discover Halifax, Tourism New Brunswick, Tourism PEI, and everything in between. So there's a lot of people. And then, of course, people like the Dr. Vibe Show, the Black media. Black Canadian media has been so instrumental in making sure this thing gets a voice and that people have an opportunity to tell their stories about their food and their establishments and what they do. So it's a combination of things. I would say overall probably more than 100 people to connect with, just on the coordination piece, and then most importantly the restaurant owners. So they're the ones that this is all about. They have to understand it's about culture maintenance. They look at it from a business. I want to make a profit. We look at it from we want you to be there in business, successful, so that we can get food that we can relate to and have spaces where we can congregate.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So now you see why Roger's peeled back from twice a year to once a year. Right?
Wow.
What has changed in the industry from your lens for Black restaurants from the time you started till now? Or has anything changed?
So one of the things I see for sure is the increase in dine-in establishments. So I would say before if you go back to let's go back in time. Let's go back to 2015. And if you can name in 2015 how many proper dine-in, where somebody is coming to your table, somebody's going to seat you, somebody's come to your table, somebody's going to take your order and then serve it, offer you that was not really a thing, I would say, for a lot of Black restaurants. But a lot of Black-owned restaurants were offering takeout. At best, takeout with a facility that you could sit down and eat the takeout in the restaurant. So there's a proliferation of dining establishments across the country, not just in the GTA. So that's one change I've seen. The other change I've seen is that I would say the majority of the newer restaurants that are opening. When I mean newer, I mean not a new restaurant in a chain of restaurants like Potluck or Sunrise or whatever, but a brand new restaurant. They tend to be more, I would say 75% of them are African cuisine. So that's something. And I'm saying that looking at restaurants opening up in British Columbia, in Alberta, in Manitoba, in New Brunswick, in PEI, and I look at the names and I look at the cuisine that's offered and everything, I'd say it's more African restaurants. And I think that's tracking with immigration, is what I would say. What immigration patterns. I'm not sure that a lot of people are still coming from the Caribbean. I'd say most of them are coming from the motherland. Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, before we go to break, I always like to share this with people. And when you're not around, I like to share this with people. How many Black-owned restaurants have you been to across this country? I want people to hear this.
Oh, that's crazy. Over 350 at this point. So the thing is, I mean, I'm very intentional about it. Some people are not intentional about it. Some people will go to a city and still, go to, what's the name of that, like Montana's or wherever else, right? Those chains, right? I am looking for that Black-owned restaurant. It doesn't matter where I go. It doesn't matter how small the city is or whatever. I found Black-owned restaurants in Alliston, in Kingston, in Prince Edward County, right? Of course, when I went to Halifax, I tried to go to all of them that were in Halifax. So it was like, yeah, it was. I went to 8 of the 10 that's in Halifax and the Halifax general area. So maybe I'm just a little bit more intentional about it. Right now, of the 20 odd restaurants that are just from the GTA, right? 20 odd restaurants are just from the GTA. There's only 3. Sorry. 4. I think there's 4 of them that I haven't been to.
Yet.
Thank you. And by the end of this week, I would have gone to all those 4 specifically.
You know what? We need to get sponsorship of Roger Dundas restaurant.
No,
we'll have you on camera filming you doing all these.
No. Because okay. I leave those things. I'm not an influencer. I don't want to be an influencer.
No. Just the journey, not the influencer.
Yeah.
That's the journey.
We leave those things to Ryan Hinkson and Big Daddy Mel and Terrence Maggie and Oxtail Pappy and all those guys. Wayne, all those guys. They do a phenomenal job in covering Black-owned restaurants. We really love the content that they're putting up.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I don't know if it's very rare that I've had so many people on the platform. And just an FYI, Roger's going to be driving the conversation because he knows them. I'll just drop in once in a while and put a little pepper sauce in.
I'm a co-pilot. You're the pilot, man.
No. We work together and win together today. We work together and win together today. Okay. All right. So we're just going to go for a quick break and then do a little show housework. And then we are going in on this conversation. So we'll be right back.
Five Blacks Restaurant Week, an amazing week. Flavorful week. We are eating good.
It's a national campaign created to promote Black-owned Canadian cuisine, food trucks, pop-up kitchens, and chefs.
Go out, taste the food, enjoy it, and get to know us and to get to know our culture.
Puts the spotlight on Black-owned dining establishments right across the country, not just here.
I love that spot. I like that person. Buy Black's best. Do you know who that is?
That's Marlon from Flow 987 on the morning show.
Marlon. So good. Good.
There's 5 restaurants providing them with food next week.
Okay.
I can't remember who the 5 are, but they really enjoy it and they really go to town with it when they get that food. And I think there's the drive show as well. If the restaurants can accommodate it and give the drive show also bigs them up as well. And it made a major impact. I just want to tell one quick story. For those guys who hesitate and are like, this thing doesn't work or whatever. I remember last year on a Friday, Carib Dish from Barry was the one that was providing food for them. And he said he went down there. He dropped off the food. You have to drop it off at like 7:15 in the morning. So it's early, I understand. And so he dropped off the food. It's Barry he was coming from, right? And he said by the time he got back up to the restaurant, there was a lineup. They had already spoken about the food.
Whoa.
People had already heard it on the radio. And people showed up at his establishment. I want to tell you something. Carib Dish was the first restaurant to sign up last year. Very first.
All right. Let's do some quick comments. How so we can get the posse up here. So Wayne Harris says, "Good morning, Doctor and Roger, and the McMillan Group. Ray, otherwise known as the Godfather. Good morning, folks. Looking forward to a great conversation. Well, we're going to do our best. All right. So as always, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. I hope this conversation gets us to 1,800 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, and you're up to it, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Also join our Discord group. You can email me at dr.vibe@vibeshow.com or click on the link that's there to advertise your business, product, or service on our platform. Again, email me. And also can't forget our good friend, Dr. Tachi out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. She is the power behind Indie Soup Media, which is an independent content creators channel that has been around for 13 months and has over 26,000 YouTube subscribers.
Wow.
And just like I always want to magnify it, only 4% of all YouTube channels have over 10,000 subscribers. She's been able to do it in 13 months, 26,000.
That's impressive.
All right. And one other thing, because we're going to talk about all these other places. do not forget about Buy Blacks. Right? Their website, buyblacks.com. There they are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Don't forget that. I'll put most of this information in the comments sections on most of the platforms that I have access to for the replay.
We're
All
on
right.
the platform too.
Huh?
We're on the Musk platform as well.
Well, I didn't have any more space. I didn't want to make it too. You're everywhere. You're everywhere. All right, let's do it. So I'm gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Chef, I don't know, Chef T. He's okay. There we go. I got to. There's just so many people. I got to put the banner.
Oh my
down.
God!
I can hear you guys. This is sexy.
Look at these beautiful black faces. Oh my God!
Roger, why don't you do the introduction?
Yeah, I could try.
Oh, don't stop it.
All right. How should I do this? You know what? Let me just go in alphabetical order. So I'm gonna start with. I think F would come first. Frontlines. So Frontlines is a very unique business. It's actually a non-profit organization that has set up a culinary school to help underserved youth, Black youth, to learn how to cook. And of course, Keisha and Chef Marty can dig deeper into what it is that they do, how they're doing it, and what they're offering for Buy Blacks Restaurant.
All right, let them go for it.
All right.
Okay, thank you so much, Roger, and of course, Dr. Vibe. Thank you so much for having us. We just wanted to, of course, just to share a little bit about what we do at Frontlines and how we would love for the community to support us. We do offer programming for youth, as Roger mentioned. We have youth within the Western communities in Mount Dennis who are, mostly marginalized or, impacted by different circumstances. So what we do is we try to incorporate them in programming that will provide them with opportunities that will enable them to access the job market, right? So they get training. Our culinary program is one of our main flagship programs. We certify them, we train them, we certify them, and then we provide them with job placements. But aside to that, a part of the culinary department is that we operate a social enterprise, and those students actually do get employed by the culinary department. So everything that we produce is by the community, and we represent our community in our food preparation. We have Caribbean food, African food, Somalian food. So we're very inclusive and quite diverse. And what we find is that because we train them, we turn around, we employ them, that gives them a sense of belonging, and it provides them with hope. They get connected to restaurants. And one of the things that we would love to do through this restaurant week is to showcase not just our social enterprise, but also the excellence that we have fostered at Frontlines. We have some very excellent, very ambitious youth that come through our doors, and all they wanted was just the opportunity, and we provided that for them. So we would love to not just showcase our excellence during Restaurant Week, but also to hope that the community supports us, and that we also get some new partners, new restaurant partners who will absorb some of these youths as we try to provide placement opportunities for them. And we do have a 40% rate where once they get placement, we do have 40% who get employed by the organization that they're at. So that really speaks to the level of dedication and excellence that we push out at Frontlines Catering. There are other programs for youth, like the So You Can Cook, So You Think You Can Cook, where they learn how to cook. The young folks come in, we teach them how to cook, and they're excited. Some of them never really had the hands-on kind of illustration as to how to cook. So we give them that opportunity. And we also have the WOMP program, which we kind of twin mental health components with cooking, where they talk about their issues what's happening to them at school, or whatever they're going through at home perhaps. And what we find is that some of them, they actually share that they're being bullied, or they're encountering anti-Black racism, right? And I remember one of the popular creation that they came up with, and they actually named their food, their dishes. So "Don't Jerk Me Around," for example, that was a piece that they created, that really helped them to talk about bullying and how that's impacting them, and the fact that they can now express their feelings by putting that pizza together as a group. So really, we're just grateful for this opportunity that Roger is providing for us, and we really look forward to having a great week with you. We want to showcase all that we have, and of course, we want the community to come by and see what we are doing. And more than all, guys, everything that we generate, all the sales from our from our food goes right back into supporting our youth, right? So it's a cycle for us. Whatever we generate supports a culinary program, gives more youth opportunities. We certify them, we give them CPR training, food handlers, you name it. So we send out a well positioned set of youth into the community once we're through with them.
Hey, thank you, Keisha. And I just want to point out, Dr. Vibe, that the Frontlines youth, Chef Marty disappeared for a second. The Frontlines youth, they're doing the serving of the food, of the working the bar, and doing some of the past appetizers at our official invite only, to put that part in, kickoff event on the 12th, right? So, so they're the ones, and we've worked with them before. This is a FYI, and they're also providing samples at the event as well too. So it'll be our opportunity to taste their food, because I actually have not tasted the food at
Marty. Marty is back.
Wow, you're in for a
back.
treat.
Marty, sorry, I just slipped in for you for a quick second.
Okay.
You're in for a treat. And we will have some guest chefs as well. Chef Marty is definitely one of them. We have Chef Jeff. We have Chef Noella herself, and so we have a treat for you. And Chef Marty is going to kick us off on, I think, the first day. Chef Marty.
Yes, the first 2 days. Yeah.
There you go.
So the Monday and the Tuesday. Yeah. So yeah, we have definitely have some surprises for you. Doing some fusion foods, mixing different Caribbean cultures and African cultures. So that should be a lot of fun.
Okay. I just want to jump in before Roger continues. Fitness IQ Cam says, morning, everyone. And Frequency Event Promotion says, Frontlines is a great not-for-profit doing some amazing work. My heart is warm this morning. Great job, Roger. Yeah, this is Roger's showdown. I'm just filling in.
No. Great job, five blacks. There's a whole team of people. I'm just the person just speaking on behalf,
All right.
Press secretary.
Who's the next person we're going to feature?
So I'm going to jump over to Grills, right? Chef T. So Chef T, I want to say something about before. I have heard that his food is amazing, and I have not tasted it as yet. So myself, we're supposed to go there one Thursday, and he switched up on me, just to let you know. Right? We were supposed to have been there 2 weeks ago, but I'm coming there this week.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So Ryan, you can't come this week because I have a little a little discomfort in the shop. So where I normally stay right now, the store I was sharing, the co sharing, the lady sold the store. Emergency, she had some money issues. She sold it. So yesterday was my last day, and we're moving to Cloud Kitchens in Etobicoke next week on the 15th. Then second week of June, we're opening our new flagship branch on Bloor by High Park, 2100 Bloor. So your coming will be maybe like a couple weeks, not this week.
There you go.
It won't work.
There you go.
Because I have a lot of plans coming up, seriously.
I want to ask, what inspired you to get into the restaurant business, Chef T?
Okay, so I would say it's passion. That's the first thing I'm going to say because I remember when I came into Canada 2016, and I realized there was not a good flow of Nigerian food. It was a bit to find it. You have to drive a distance. It was very scarce. So I thought to myself, I said, well, since I love cooking and I enjoy this, what's the best thing to do? Let me just go into this Nigerian food, and I started making most of Nigerian food. Then I realized most of this our food takes too long and too much stress to make. So I chose the barbecue style, which is suya, because barbecue is something that is very common here. But suya, a very magical flavor, which is tastier than I found consider most of all the flavors in this world. Nobody knows it. When I went for the food trainer program, I realized nobody knew what suya was. So I told myself, I said, it's about time to take this suya to the world. And that is how suya to the world, my slogan came up. And that was how I started working on the suya. I went for the food trainer program, and boom, that's how I started my grills location, co-sharing in Suya City. And that's what inspired my thing. I was just his passion and to give back to people.
How does that passion help you when you're having some of the downtimes that can happen in the restaurant industry?
Well, I would say because now, for example, people come up to me and be like, Chetty, mentor me, Chetty, talk to me, Chetty, I need some advice. And I'll be like, in this country or in this part of the world, I think restaurant is one of the hardest things to go into. And a lot of people jump in thinking it's so easy to make money in it, but they forget the back end is the most strenuous thing anybody can ever go to in this world. It's very stressful at the back end. And so I ask them, what if you don't make money for like 2-3 months? What are you going to do? A lot of people tell me, oh, I'll back out. I'll say, well, I've gone sometimes 3 months without making money. I'm making like maybe $1,000 in the whole of the month. And today I'm making like $20 in revenue in a month, sometimes or more. It took me a while to get there. So I would say resilience, the passion, and those two alone, I think I would say those two are one of the biggest factors.
Okay.
Roger, you want to continue on?
Yeah. So what's your what are you offering during restaurant week? What is the prefix menu? Or, no, you have a $10 special.
Yes, we have a $10 Amelie burger with fries, the $10 special. So the burger comes, we have this bun that like specially made for us in the whole of Canada. It's called agigi bread. It's a special kind of bread from Nigeria. We use it for our burn. And in between, we put the sirloin. We use sirloin beef steak, shredded sirloin, and put in between. It comes with fries. One of the tastiest burgers anybody will ever have. So we're trying to show it to the world, and we're so happy Restaurant Week had to involve us in this, which is an honor and a pleasure. So hopefully, this is another level for us to show our product to the world.
Nice. And then the last each honey soul food. Now, before I go into honey soul food, I have to tell you that I went there, I had the food, and this is the thing. I am happy I don't live in Mississauga. No, man. These guys have perfected something there. That food was it was off the chain. That's what I would say about it. It was off the chain, guys. That cornbread. You know, Shani, I had the intention to take some home with me, right? I had that full intention, and I sat down there like a glutton of sleep, and I ate everything. I couldn't leave. It was good, but please tell us about that journey of. I know that you guys had a bit of a journey to get to where you are, and fill in everything else, including the airport stuff. So please tell us the whole story.
All right. First and foremost, before Sinead there, thank you for having us on the show. And honestly, it's amazing to be around all of this Black talent. It's good because we don't really get a chance to get out there and see different Black businesses all over. Because you're so focused on your own, trying to get it up, you forget that we got so much people in the community going through all the same things. So that is a very amazing thing. And thank you for having us here.
Hello, everybody.
You're welcome.
Good morning. Roger's a thing. People don't leave the parking lot with that cornbread. It's a thing. They get a 3-pack and they're like, oh yeah, don't worry, I'm taking it home. You know, you're not. They
No.
come right back in and order more because they ate those ones already.
Yes.
It's a thing. It's a thing. So don't worry. But I'm Shanae. I'm here with my co-partner here. His name is Jason. It is his birthday, so like love that. We started Honey Soul Food. I officially got my location in 2020. We opened doors April 2021. So we just celebrated 4 years.
Nice.
And it was essentially me and my dad who opened up the restaurant. And about a year in, Jason jumped on board officially. Jason's always been kind of like my co-consultant in the process. He had to, when I made my menu, I was a vegetarian. I was vegetarian for 16 years. So to open up a soul food spot and to be a vegetarian is absolutely insane. So he literally had to try and taste every single thing that we made. And he was always just a person I always consulted with business about. So when it came time and the opportunity came up for him to actually officially join Honey, I didn't even have to think about it. It was just like, yeah, let's do this. Let's run the world together.
Let's run the world together.
Wow.
I like that.
Let's run the world together. And I think
like Jay-Z and Beyonce, man.
Run the world.
We could take that.
Let me ask, the concept of basing your food on honey, where did that initiative come from? Where did it originate from?
That is interesting. The name was supposed to be a few different things. One being, I won't say it because we might want to take it another time, but Honey Soul Food really just, I guess it just kind of came to Shanae's mind when it just popped up. It just rang. And it's funny enough that the food didn't have honey in it to begin with. But we started adapting a little bit of honey on the cornbread. We would drizzle it. It was not supposed to be a main dish, but something just came out of it, out of the 66 tries of her forcing it down my throat, because that's what happened, right? I had to taste 66 tries of all of this cornbread. And you imagine, I think around that time, I absolutely gained about 5 to 10 pounds because it was that consistent. But it was a pretty amazing thing to kind of see where that cornbread pretty much has taken Honey Soul Food. And so ever since we started putting honey on it, and then we started adapting honey into some of the recipes and things like that. And so it started to be incorporated. And then we came up with a slogan with love the taste of honey in every bite. And it just stuck. And so from there, now honey is a big part of our identity, as well as the community that we work with Ken's Lingnam Honey, who is a big part of our restaurant. We like to have his stuff in the restaurant. We use it for certain items because it's just that good. But yeah, honey, I don't know, but it became a thing, and it's never leaving us now.
Nice. Roger, I'm going to have to try this cornbread, because the best cornbread I've ever had is my sister makes some serious cornbread. She knows if we're going to a family event, I won't come unless her cornbread's there. Actually, one time her cornbread wasn't at a family event and I left, but that's a whole other conversation piece. This
is a next level thing.
Next level.
Yeah, it was out of bounds, as you like to say. And I have to say something about the food too. That I purchased $22 worth of food, and that food I couldn't finish it. It was too much. It was so much. It was so much money, but so value for money was there, right? And I had this jerk chicken sandwich, and again, I don't know what. I asked her. I said, "What is this sauce inside of this sandwich?" I don't know. I mean, it was so good. I mean, guys, you really have something there. The wings. I took the wings home. I took the mac and cheese home, and my kids devoured it. So that's my test. That's my litmus test. I take the food home to my kids, and I give it to my kids. If my kids really love it, that means that it's universal. So,
100%.
Really, really good job. So, just not to bias front lines and grills. I haven't been there yet. That's why I'm not talking about you guys like this, okay?
Yet.
You are in for a treat.
All right.
You're in for a treat.
All right. Just catching up on some comments. Frequency of Rent Promotion says, happy Jason. And also says, congrats with reaching 4 years. Frequency of Info says, on the ground, hearing some great things about your business, Honey Soul Food. Looking forward to connecting. In the meantime, keep up the brand work. And the McMillan Group says that's an amazing and brave move to open up a soul food joint as a vegetarian. Congrats and continued success. Have a question from the audience. Mr. Wayne Harris has a question saying, what's the economic impact since inception for the participants?
That's a very good question. Because you know what, Wayne? We have seen restaurants grow, like Stacy's and Carib Dish and of course Mr. Camor's and all those guys. And then we've seen restaurants close down. So there's a myriad of reasons. But I can say comfortably that when I see a restaurant close down, it's typically one main reason. What do you think that is? Number one reason.
Consistency.
Lack of marketing.
Let's say branding.
Branding.
It's literally everything.
Yeah. There was one restaurant where the owner came into some legal problems and in my hometown here, and he had to shut down his restaurant. But he was the main chef, so it was difficult for them to keep on running the business after he got into those complications. But it was one of my top 5 restaurants. It was one of the best restaurants, Blackwood, in Canada. Right, so it was really high end and everything, and they have closed down. So the economic impact that we see is the business being able to continue and to grow and attract new customers, because you cannot survive on your existing, social media followers and everything. You need more customers than that. So that's the thing that what we hope for is that the awareness that Restaurant Week provides is just the new customer.
I have a conversation piece. What are some of the biggest challenges that each one of you as an entity are facing at this present time?
Great question.
We could take that on for just a moment to start there. For us, and I'll just touch upon the last thing that we were talking about there when it comes to branding, as Roger's saying, branding is one of the biggest things. Marketing is one of the biggest things that is going to propel your business to the next level. We've been fortunate enough when we opened up during COVID in 2021, where we were able to rely on the community of influencers. That essentially was our paid marketing. We have not spent, if we're going to be honest, maybe we could say we spent maybe about $1,000 in total in the past 4 years when it has come to marketing. Those are on the low end side. We're talking about business cards and banners and stuff like that. But when it comes to actual brand marketing, we use the community, we were hoping for, but we use the community to propel our business through different channels. And we were able to show up in different markets. I remember in the first 2-3 years, 2021, 2022, 2023, for sure, Shanae and I were at every event. We were at every single event. You saw our logo, you saw our shirts, and you knew that cornbread was going to be there. And so we had a product that, again, it was a side product. We were not thinking, and I'm pretty sure Shanae was not thinking at that time, that this thing was going to be global in a sense. And it has become our icon at Honey Soul Food. And so when we realized what that product was, we said to ourselves, let's put this everywhere and anywhere we can. And we did some brand sponsorships. We did some really great catering with many different types of big businesses. And that also helped us echo our brand everywhere. And so when it comes to things that we're facing in our community, I would say for us, it might just be a staffing thing. And that's just the truth of it. Running a restaurant, as Chef T was saying, is the operation parts is one of the hardest things to do. And consistency is where you might fall and falter. And so, when you get that one review, that 1-star review a couple times over the past couple of months, it sometimes beats out all the 5-star reviews, because that 1-star review, it lingers, it sticks on you as an owner. And so I think for us, Shanae and I, we would say that just the human resource side about it is probably where we would love to get better in, excel in. We do hire a lot of young people. That is our key. That's our motive. We hire a lot of young people coming out of high school who are in early college, and we do that for a reason. And we want to make sure that our culture, our people is getting a voice. And so sometimes they may be coming in a little bit raw, and then we gotta teach them a little bit. We gotta help them a little bit. We gotta guide them. And so that might be some of the learning curves when it comes to our staff, but they're great people. And so I think if we continue on that path to building these young youth up, we're gonna have a real viable restaurant for the future.
Who wants to follow up on that? Anyone? Some of the biggest, I would say, opportunities. Let's put it that way, not challenges. Opportunities that you have.
For Frontlines, we are kind of caught in a little bit of a conundrum, in that every dollar that we generate, we are we're inclined to or kind of not even inclined, we're kind of mandated to pump that back into programming and to provide opportunities for more youth. And so that kind of restricts us in terms of, having the proper marketing tools and a complete kind of marketing outfit to ensure that we're, doing the right things at the right time, having proper branding, and so on and so forth. And so we're a little restricted, or where that is concerned. And so I really would love for us to, we're happy for support. For somebody who could assist us with building that out, being that, our dollar really goes back into supporting our youth. And so that's one of our kind of a drawback now for a social enterprise. If we were to get that dollar where we could actually invest in proper marketing, I'm pretty sure we could have more dollars coming in, generate more revenue, and then, of course, be able to support more of our community youth with that kind of certification, and allowing them to then become a part of the restaurant community and as employees. So that's where that's kind of our little conundrum at Frontlines.
Okay. Anyone else? Go ahead, Roger.
No, I was just asking Chef T if he had a comment on the challenges.
Chef T, can you hear us? I don't think he can hear us. Anyone else about?
You have this moment. I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. What was the question, please? Sorry, I missed it.
What are some of the opportunities / challenges that you're facing right now in growing what you have?
I would say for me, one of my biggest challenges is dollars. Is marketing, because I know I spend a lot of money on marketing, but sometimes you think, or I feel, it does not make the right results that I expect. The ROA is not always what I expect. So I use a lot of influencers, and 70% of them, at least, or 80% always take some top dollars from me. So last year, let me just go example. From February last year to December last year, after doing my taxes, I realized I spent about $88,000 on marketing last year alone. I don't know if that's a lot compared to making a revenue of about $268,000, but I feel I should have done better. So this year, I'm really into that. Let me look at a way to expand my horizon again, because I've gone to Honey, the other guy said, we went to all the shows last year, 3 years ago, we've been all shows. But again, at the end of the day, I think I can make more than this. So right now, I'm trying to strategize to see what I can do better in marketing, and find out more opportunities for us to expand. Especially now that we're going to be having like 2 locations in the next 1 to 3 months.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting that he touched on the point of influencers. I make a statement about influencers. It may not be the popular theory, right? But using influencers is great. First and foremost, it's great. Yes, it's like a shot in the arm. It's like an adrenaline shot in the arm. However, there are certain influencers that create a bigger impact than others. And the ones that create the biggest impact are the ones that are not charging you any money.
You got it so right. So right. So right.
Oh, boy.
I'm talking specifically about somebody like Keith Lee, right? Who doesn't charge anybody any money. He just shows up, he buys the food, he pays for the food himself, right? Goes in his car, gives a review. If the review is bad, you're screwed. But if the review is good, like Old Nassau,
money.
There's a lineup at the door, right? So the thing is, we doing this program with limited funds. Believe me, we don't have no big budget. We seek sponsorship. Sponsors give us money, and then we spend all the money on the marketing, right? It's not fruitful for us to spend so much money on influencers. I'm just telling influencers, if you're hearing this, if you're watching it, just know that I can't justify taking a third or a fifth of my budget and giving it to one person. It's the return is good. I have not seen that return. I have not seen the lineup at the door, right? However, what we have seen is we have gotten restaurants in Toronto Star, for example. So let's talk about Stacy's Island Flavor, one of the biggest success stories. Pretty much unknown restaurant, a little place on Shepherd between Victoria Park and
Pharmacy.
Right? Pharmacy. Thank you. So she appeared on an article in Toronto Star. Her picture was on the front page of the food section. I went in the restaurant 5 days later. Everything was off the chain. The Uber Eats, skip the dish. The phone was just ringing, and there was a lineup, and it was busy. And it's been busy like that from May 2023 till now. I went there 1 month ago, and it was still busy. There was a lineup at the door. So that's a phenomenon of something that can happen. I haven't seen the same thing has happened to Old Nassau with Keith Lee, but the influencer charging $1,500 to $6,000, it doesn't translate for the restaurant. That's just my opinion. I mean, to be truthful with Stacey's, what happened is after the Toronto Star article, influencers started going there.
Yeah.
Right, so it was now on their map, and then they made the oxtail stuffed patty viral.
Yes.
Right. So those are the types of things that will happen. Same thing will happen in Halifax, where you get a restaurant on CTV, or the CTV does this full story on all the participants, and they film it and they throw it on TV. Now it's a different audience. You see a whole different set of people coming in there because they would not have known about your restaurant otherwise, right? They're not following you. Right? The thing that I say to people is, my online mentor would say, try and take 10% of your revenue if you can and put it back into advertising. I'm talking specifically like, forget about buy blocks for a second. Go with, you have things like Google ads, targeted ads, for your area, because you don't want to add. You're in Mississauga, for example, but I'll come from Whitby, sure. So if you know that somebody will come from Whitby, so that should be your range, like a 50-kilometer range, right around Honey Soul Food, and you're marketing out. But you don't need somebody in Kingston, in Niagara Falls necessarily. They're not gonna come there on a regular basis. You want your low-hanging fruit. So that's the thing with a lot of people. That
is correct.
They're doing all this stuff, but it's not working because it's not in their target zone. So you need to focus on the target zone. You can also geo-target your ads on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook. LinkedIn, I don't find is a big foodie platform. We've been doing this for years. It didn't work for us. Pinterest worked for us. TikTok worked for us. Instagram worked for us. And also a little bit of Facebook. And Google, of course.
Yeah. Well, people, you're getting some free game here. You're getting some free game.
And always be telling people what you have for sale. I mean, I look on some people's IG and there's nothing there. And I'm like, hold on, but this restaurant is open with a big menu. And I'm not seeing the pictures of the food on their IG, on their TikTok. It's a simple thing. You just before you hand it to the guest, to the customer, just take a picture of it. And that's a post, you know. What's a special for the day?
Yeah.
So that's for the big companies like Popeyes and KFC and all those guys. They have a special every day. Check it out. Don't take my word for it. Go there, right? They're advertising that every day. So the whole week they're saying Mondays, this Tuesday, and then on the day of, hey, don't forget, it's $5 for a 3-piece today. Every day. So you have to follow that thing. And really and truly, I tell restaurants this all the time. You want to find, after you wake up in the morning and you say your prayers and do all that morning routine, maybe you go to the gym, whatever, right? Whatever you do, stop for 15 minutes and do your marketing before you start the cooking and everything else. Stop and do it. Do the schedule the posts, later.com, whatever you use it. Do that first.
And I just want to add on, because we do have some questions. I know that all you got to do what you got to do. There are resources out there where you can get people, even students who probably are better at things like social media that you are, right? That, because you got to realize, you want to make more money. Either you're going to be the person to do it, or you got to get someone else to do it. And you've got to get the things off your plate so you can really focus in and zone in. Roger uses it. I use it. We have students who are really good at the things that we aren't that good at.
Yep.
That do it really well. For example, the promo you saw for Buy Blacks Restaurant Week was done by a student.
I want you to show it again. Show it again before,
Before we leave, we'll show it again. But that's the thing, and they're excited to do it. Don't try to do everything on your own, or you're going to burn yourself out.
Burn out completely.
You burn out.
I also want to add something. Sorry, just kind of piggyback off of what Roger was saying. Another thing was niche marketing, because I'm pretty sure a lot of us, started off in the restaurant industry, coming up and even as a dishwasher, and then moving up that way, and then realize that this is our passion and we want to do our own thing. And a lot of us, we get into catering and stuff like that, and it's very, very easy to get lost in the sauce where you're just offering too many things. And a lot of times to really put yourself out there and to gain an audience, you should focus on one thing. And I think that's very, very difficult. I myself went through it. I've been in this game for about maybe 10 years, and I just realized what I want to focus on. And then so now getting into the niche marketing and really focusing on that specific product and pushing yourself, and then building on onto that. So
I'm going to throw another thing that Roger and I talk about. I'm going to ask each one of you. You don't have to answer it. When was the last time you did a survey of your customers?
Ooh.
I'm just gonna let that simmer. Any entrepreneurs who want assistance from me, that's one of the first questions, because how do you know what your clients want if you don't ask them?
Market research is very it's so important. Challenging, but very, very important.
The day I went to Stacy's after the article had broke, that was the 2023, and I asked everyone in the store how they had heard about the restaurant, because I've seen white people up in there. I'm like, this is a regular Jamaican restaurant. This is typically where regular Caribbean people just go and buy their food. You know what I'm saying? So I was asking people, and they're like, yeah, so I think Toronto Stars.
Well, to each one of you, I always say, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And always, too, remember to give yourself grace. Because it is a hard industry you're in. It's very hard to, make sure you give yourself grace. And I'm going to ask you when I see you next week, what do you do to get away from this? So get ready to have that question. Dr. Vibe's coming for you at that, because I don't want to hear you work 24/7. It won't work. But blessings to all you. Be well and keep the faith.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you so much.
My pleasure and honor. See you next Monday.
Have a beautiful day. See you next Monday.
Yeah, all right. Take care. Monday. All right. We are good. All right.
Hey. Well, that was a very good conversation. Excellent conversation.
Well, look who I was doing it with.
No, man, it's the chefs. I mean, I love the diversity too in the different organizations. Different types of cuisine, and even with Frontlines, I think that's an organization I've been supporting for a little while now. If you remember, at our anniversary event at Tropicana in 2020, right before COVID, it was them. It was their team that was doing the survey.
Yes.
Yeah. It was the Frontlines youth. They helped me. So they're going to be back again next week, Monday.
Monday is going to be some kind of evening.
It's crazy. I mean, it's 12 6 food vendors. For like we have Joyce Jamaican Eatery. We have Grills. I'm drawing a blank right now.
It's all right. I am fasting during the day. Let's just put it that way.
There's Taste Jamaica. They have the dessert. There's Edible Bliss 11. There's Frontline.
Oh, so good to see you. It's so nice.
Yeah, and then there's Frontlines as well. And then on the beverage side, there is Mascot Brewery. They have 3 locations now, by the way.
Yes. It's actually
one.
What's interesting, and I think you and I remember a few years ago, Janice
had
an event there.
Yeah, correct.
And that's the first exposure I got to that place, and the place in the West End of Toronto.
Nice. Narai Cellars.
Is he going to be there, Steve?
Yep, Steve.
Yeah.
David Peart with Hip Vodka, so it's flavored vodka, watermelon vodka, pineapple vodka, I believe. Then there's CJ's Punch. They are actually out of Ajax, so they're right beside me. And then there's Bold Lemonade and Classic Juice. You guys, another Classic Juice also went through the Foodpreneur Lab program.
Wow. It's going to be some reacquainting with people. I haven't seen Steve Byfield in forever. I interviewed him. Yeah, I had him on the platform way back. That's going to be amazing. That is, and it's invite only. Sorry, folks, but I will certainly be there documenting and maybe do some live stuff from there. Oh, the food plane says, "Oh no, I'm late to the party." Hello, Dr. Vibe DS here. You're a food guy. You missed out, but definitely watch the replay. And we have another segment coming up on Friday with some more participants and by Black Restaurant Week. Sir, I should let you go because you've got some traveling to do today.
I do. I was just trying to find some information. And
well, while you're doing that, I'm going to just do some final things here. So as always, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Please like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Join the Discord group. Email me dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com or click on the link you see on the screen. It's also in the comments sections in a lot of places. Advertise your business, product, or service on the show. Email me dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Don't forget, this is the link, buyblacks.com/restaurant week to find out more information. What else do we want to put?
The sixth food vendor is actually Chef Karima. That's who it is.
Wow, I haven't seen her. Haven't seen her in a long time.
Yeah, to pull out the stops, man. I mean,
this is good. This is good.
Yeah. So everybody has different food. That's the thing too. When you're sampling, it's not just the same. Nobody's serving the same thing.
Nice. Buyblacks.com, all the information there. And that's only partial. I couldn't fit it all. It would take 3 lower thirds to fill everything out. That's a good thing. Ryan, there's his information, RyanO'NeillKnight.com, Ryan O'Neill Knight, and that's with a KN, not an N. Yes, and Instagram at Ryan.Knight99. Email work with me, RyanO'NeillKnight.com. Myself, the Dr. Vibe Show, website, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, the Dr. Vibe Show, X, DRVIBESHOW. I'm going to be posting on X for a little bit, believe it or not, and email dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. You can also catch me on Substack at drvibe.substack.com/subscribe, and on Blue Sky, drvibe.bsky.social. And you can catch replays of this epic conversation on a number of places. And also want to hail up BOF.
Yes. Gotta say thank you to the Black Opportunity Fund, TD Bank, ACBN, Quell, and all of the destination marketing organizations that are supporting the restaurants in their regions or their cities, and all of the Black community associations that are supporting their regions and their cities as well. The ACBN has been a steadfast supporter of Restaurant Week ever since we started. And you know what? I did want to point out that there's one restaurant that has been doing this from the get-go. I believe they have done the 8 versions of Restaurant Week. And if anybody can guess that right now, if you can guess the name of that restaurant right now, we will give you a $50 gift certificate to go to that restaurant. If you can, I'm just gonna give it a minute to see who can post that in the comments.
Okay, and Hayden Morrison says, "What's going on Monday and where?" Well, it's an invite only for Buy Black's Black Restaurant Week. So if you're not invited, unfortunately, you'll have to hang out with me online, and you'll see who's hanging out there. Do we have any people who are willing to guess a restaurant from day one? Day one. I don't think.
Let me give a clue. They're in Toronto. That's all I'll say.
And actually, I know how much you love Miss Lickamore's, but Lonnie is all over Top Chef Canada.
Yes, she's not She couldn't participate this year because she was under pressure. She had new staff coming in. She was doing training.
Yep.
She has a new location opening up in DC. It was madness.
But she is on a number of the competitions. She is one of the people tasting the food.
Yeah.
Like I was watching on replay a while ago. Hey, what is this? Is this Top Chef Lonnie? Like every episode, I'm seeing her on there. But great for her.
Yeah,
great for her. And actually, on one of the episodes, they actually went into her kitchen, and 2 of the chefs were cooking in her kitchen.
Wow.
So I got to big up and got to send her a message. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, I don't think nobody guessed it.
No, we're going. So Roger, thank you as always. Travel safe today. We're back on Friday with part 2 of Restaurant Tours. All right. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger. Block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both and make it better. And thanks, everyone, for watching live or in the replay. And if you're in the GTA next week, not only next week, before next week, try it now. Try it today. Don't wait for next week. Try it all the time. Be well and keep the faith.
This whole thing of using your business with plant-based products, don't you think your life should reflect that too?
Juke him, Carolyn. Juke him. The family loves us here because they're saying Fitness IQ Can says put a wig on to get in.
Oh my God.
Like the ideas are just coming fast and furious here this morning. What? Okay, look at this. Global Women Ambassador. Good morning. Look forward. Okay.